I have been keeping and breeding dogs for decades. First Rottweilers, then Cane Corsos. I have always been attracted to large dogs. About 5 years ago, I visited a breeder friend with whom I saw a Boerboel for the first time in my life, not just in a photo. This dog had such an impact on me that after meeting it, I visited everyone in the area who was dealing with this breed in this region at that time. Let's say there were not many of them then. During one of these visits, I met an adult male Boerboel, and when seeing him, I felt that I had arrived. Since then, I have been in love with the breed and spend almost every day with them, much to my delight. After that, I started looking for dogs to establish my kennel, first in Europe and simultaneously in the breed's mother country, South Africa. I have learned a great deal over the past 5 years, and I have had to experience with them that truth is almost always surrounded by beliefs and misconceptions, even for such a special and rare breed. I currently have 8 dogs with whom I can already lay down the basics for my quality Boerboel kennel. In the case of the general public, I sadly see that more and more people are buying giant-sized dogs, including this breed. My personal belief is that, due to its past and the tasks expected of them, the ideal is not the Boerboel that weighs more than 100 pounds, who are huge in stature and possibly has, in quotes, 3 heads. But those ones that stay between 150 and 170 pounds have excellent dynamic movement, can withstand sprints and long miles of running well, because in the past, it was their task during their formation and selection. Imagine that the puppies of the recently born litter are barely 2 weeks old, but the prospective buyers already want to book the biggest ones. They do this without seeing the future character or other qualities of the dogs yet, but they want the biggest one already. The former role of these dogs goes back for a long time. It is not for nothing that they are often called the lion dog. The ancestors were formed by Boer farmers in southern Africa to protect their cattle herds and hundreds of acres of land, and in one of the most dangerous places of the world, where they had to constantly watch out for something: large carnivores, herds of baboons, but also local tribes who were hostile to farmers. Just a few weeks ago, I saw some videos about a South African territory protected by Boerboels. From the outside, a lion approached the fence, which was driven away from the inside by 2 Boerboels, although no direct contact or fights took place. Although they have always been excellent guard and protective dogs, their whole life is about this. They can stand their ground in almost everything. I would even dare to entrust them with the guardianship of a child. However, I must also say that they do not necessarily fit in this part of the world, I mean Europe, where spaces are small and there are many people living together. If they weren't both my hobby and a very important part of my life, I wouldn't necessarily keep them. The primordial force that resides within them is difficult to control, especially in a situation where they feel that there is any danger to their owner or their family. They are extremely strong dogs with amazing physical abilities. I mentioned earlier that I had large dogs before them, but I realized that they were not comparable to the Boerboels. Their temperament and strength are amazingly higher than those of the breeds I know so far, but this is somewhere natural for a muscle ball in top form, weighing almost 170 pounds. I had to turn down several buyers in recent years because I realized that they want to buy a Boerboel with the intention that it would be a garden ornament in the yard next to the luxury car. No dog is for this, but this breed is especially not. A bored Boerboel who does not know what to do with himself can be very dangerous to the environment with an unprepared owner. If they get excited about something, they can easily take out an ordinary wire fence if they are not properly controlled. These dogs feel really good where they have plenty of space and acres at their disposal. Knowing the circumstances under which the Boerboel formed, this is not so surprising, since in South Africa, they had to constantly patrol and control almost endless areas. For example, at the breeder who is a model for me, dogs are swimming and running regularly every day. I do the same. I take them to my farm, where they have large, open spaces at their disposal. I take them to the surrounding forests or to the banks of River Danube, where we run. I usually accompany them by scooter or quad. These dogs need to move a lot so that they do not lose their function. I also have a dog that is huge and beautiful, looks like a lion. However, he can't run as much, which I think is a serious mistake because he's an overbred dog from South Africa. He is very calm, sleeps a lot and quite lazy as well. Although it is a confident dog and excellent for guarding my house, since if he barks, a stranger jumps 6 yards backwards, this type is not the ideal Boerboel for me because it cannot perform its function as efficiently as my other dogs. And I like to go in the direction that this dog was once selected for through hard work over centuries, not towards extreme sizes. I expect all my dogs to be able to jump on the back of my truck. This is an above-average strong breed that is not a toy. Same-sex individuals can be very problematic to keep together because they are definitely very dominant dogs. When same-sex Boerboels are placed in one space, the balance of power is settled and usually not by peaceful means. Just yesterday, I had to control one of my 165-pound bitch dogs, who I never thought would attack other bitches at home. But she gave birth, and after giving birth, her behavior and character changed in many ways. I have to pay close attention because these Boerboel bitches, with their strength and weight, can do very nasty things to each other. Boerboels are such powerful animals that keeping them requires not only competence, but also serious physical strength. I'm a 200-pound heavy person, and if I lead a bigger male forward in the kennel, say, who spots another dominant male in the kennel, he wants to go there. When I close and place my dogs in the evening, I get tired, and I say this literally, even though I have a very serious sporting background. You should also know about this breed that if I take any of them for a walk in this small town where I live, it creates almost impossible situations. If I go for a walk with the most dominant male, after 300 yards, my heart rate is 150 because this is not the kind of dog with whom we walk with along fences and tolerates being barked at once by a fox terrier and once by a German shepherd. For a Boerboel to endure this, it takes a lot of time and someone who constantly deal only with one dog. I quit these walks. I take them outside the city to move them thoroughly, as I mentioned earlier. To regularly walk these dogs in the city, where behind every second fence there is another dog barking, is impossible. I tried for a while, but I gave up. If they want to go somewhere, they go there and I go with them at the end of the leash.